Welcome to the Her Story Circle podcast, the podcast that brings you the extraordinary tales of everyday women who are changing the world. I'm your host, Gertrude Mache, and I'd like to acknowledge traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today. I also like to pay my respects to elders, past, present, and emerging. Every week, we dive into the lives, challenges, and triumphs of women from all four corners of the globe. We're here to inspire, enlighten, and connect, sharing stories that uplift and empower. So grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and join us as we explore the incredible journeys of women shaping our future. This is Her Story, where every woman's voice matters. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Her Story Circle. This is Gertrude Mache here in beautiful Melbourne, Australia. And today I am graced with the presence of yet another fascinating woman. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our tribe. Please tell everybody your full name, where you're based, and share your story with us today.
Well, hello, everyone. Love the music in the video. By the way, Gertrude, it's a delight to be here. My name is Robin Emiliani, and I am one of the founders of Catalyst Marketing. And I currently live in Denver, Colorado, but I was born and raised in Cincinnati, Ohio, and I was raised on the West Side, which is an important distinction in Cincinnati if you're on the West Side or the East Side. So grew up on the West Side, and I have an older brother and I have a younger sister. My older brother lives here in Denver with me, and my younger sister lives in Houston, Texas. Missing her very much. And I left Cincinnati and actually went to college at Indiana University, and it was one of the most amazing experiences of my life. I just had such a beautiful, exceptional experience in college where I met amazing people, both men and women, and had my eye opened, I think, to a lot of different worlds. Indiana, in Bloomington, Indiana does a great job of encouraging diversity and welcoming all types of people. And that was very different than the town that I grew up in. And so it was just great to be in a very loving, open space. And I was very driven, and I knew from a very early age that I wanted to go into marketing. And there was a TV show once upon a time called Who's the Boss? And Angela in that show was my inspiration because she ran a marketing company. And so I said one day I would become Angela. And funny enough, I did. But I left I left Bloomington when I graduated from college, went to Chicago and loved Chicago, lived in Wrigleyville. It's Southport and Roscoe. It's very different looking now. Loved it there. And then left Chicago and followed a boy to Denver, Colorado. And I am a mom. So I have 3 boys. I have an older son, Quentin, who is 21, soon to be 22. I miss him very much because he is in Seattle, Washington, going to the University of Washington. And then my middle son, Calvin, is at the University of Oregon. Miss him too, but he is a sophomore there. But I get to see him this weekend because he's playing in the Club Baseball World Series in St. Louis. So I get to go and enjoy that. And then I have a younger son. His name is John Luca, who's a soccer star, and he is 13, and he is an absolute delight, keeps me on my toes. And some of my hobbies include, I love gardening. I have lots of flowers. I have lots of plants, both outside and inside. And I am a sports fanatic. I love most sports, but an avid follower of football, baseball, basketball, and soccer. And that's thanks to my upbringing, my family. We were all rabid sports fans, which was fun growing up because most weekends were pretty intense, all of us watching games. And it just and I guess it goes back to my grandparents. My dad's parents were very into sports, and so they were very particular about watching Cincinnati Reds baseball games, where they would actually have it on the TV, and then they would have the volume off, and they would have the radio announcers over that because they felt like the radio announcers were better than the TV broadcasters. So it goes back really far. But today in Denver, beautiful Denver, Colorado, which it's 80 degrees. It's a little warm in here, as a matter of fact. But now I am a single mom taking care of all these boys, which has been probably my greatest joy of my lifetime. But I also have another baby, a fourth baby, which is my business, which is Catalyst Marketing, that I own and started with another woman by the name of Jen Swartz, who is my ride or die. We have not only a very close partnership, but a very close friendship. We've lived through a couple lifetimes in these 10 years as business owners. And we've recently made a big pivot in our business, which is not for the faint of heart, by the way, but what we were a marketing agency in the past, and thanks to AI, we were really seeing changes happening, not only with the work that we were doing, but with also the clients that we were supporting and some of the challenges that they were facing. So we shifted from being a marketing agency to an AI enhanced growth marketing company. And so we have taken on the tech stack so that our clients don't have to. And so we're able to provide really smart solutions faster, easier, and dare I say smarter, thanks to AI, because it's not just humans. We have the superpowers of the tools that we're using. And most weekends I spend on the ball field with my 13-year-old son. But this weekend I'm going to surprise my very best friend from childhood for her retirement party, because I may be of that age at this stage of my life. So.
Absolutely fantastic, Robin. It's just incredible when I meet women who are on the cutting edge of technology, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy what is coming with all of this AI technology. But how did AI become a focus for Catalyst Marketing?
Ooh, great question. I want to say it wasn't really purposeful. It sort of happened. We were becoming aware of what was happening in the market, and a lot of people were using these tools. And there were a couple of us that started testing the tools and using some specifically. And then all of us started to realize, oh, wow, this is really powerful. And this makes me so much smarter for a couple reasons. And one of the biggest ways we're using AI, which I don't know that a lot of people are doing yet, is to disprove your theories and disprove hypotheses that you already have, or break the framework that you have so that you know the pitfalls, you know the gaps, and you can go back and be able to say, oh, yes, I did forget that. I need to incorporate that. I think the other thing, too, that we've really found helpful, not just with writing or with creating, but competitive analysis, like going deep into like, what are our competitors doing, so that what's some of the low-hanging fruit, and what are the things that we can take advantage of that our competitors aren't doing today. So I know that there's a lot of people very fearful about, how it can replace jobs, but my bit of advice is to just become really adept at using the tools, because those people are going to be irreplaceable. The humans that can really capitalize on all of the power that it provides and the insight that it provides. So I would not look at it as, oh gosh, this is going to replace my job, but this is actually going to make me better at my job.
I love it. Now, many people are finding AI intimidating, but the honest truth is it's not going away. It's here to stay.
Yeah.
How do you simplify it for your clients?
Yeah. And this is not my advice. I'm actually stealing this from someone else I heard the other day, but I really like this notion of the first step in using AI so that you don't get overwhelmed and you don't feel like, gosh, I'm not going to understand this. Like it's technology. I'm not a tech person. I love this bit of advice to consider AI, use it to make you faster. Figure out the one thing that feels really tedious and hard to get started, or it takes a long time. And
Mhm.
then think about asking a partner like an AI tool, like how can this be faster? How can I eliminate steps? How can I eliminate minutes or hours to be able to complete this simple task?
Yes.
And a lot of, when we're creating, because, at the core of our being, we're a strategic creative company, is like get me started. So think of like writer's blocks, or it's really funny. My 85-year-old father actually uses it for writing letters to my children, which I think
Okay.
is just so it's so beautiful. Like while he's a great speaker, he's not the best writer, which is interesting.
Right.
Usually those two go hand in hand. But he will tell the prompt or tell Chat GPT, hey, I want to tell my 20-year-old grandson how very proud of him that I am that he's going to the college club baseball World Series, and I'm very proud of the man that he's becoming because he's always so kind to me and he reaches out to me all the time, and I'm just really proud of the young man that so he's writing this in the prompt
Oh,
to give him the
wow.
words. Like, I'm like, what a beautiful way to use AI that's outside of
Yeah.
work, uh,
Yeah.
and outside of the things that we do day to day, but how to use it for real good when you're trying to connect with somebody that
Yes.
that you oftentimes feel like you're at a loss for words for.
I love it. So, what are the biggest misconceptions that people have about using AI in marketing?
Um, Gosh, I think there's a couple. I think there's an arrogant standpoint. Well, like anybody can learn AI, and of course I can do it. I think there's that, which not a lot of people talk about. But I think it's, oh, I'm leveraging that or I'm already doing that. But I think knowing and understanding, like you can always make it better. You can always make your prompts better. You can always take it a step further, or you can add another tool. So, for example, one of the ways that we're using it is we'll ask one AI tool, we'll ask it a question, and then if we don't like the answer, we actually drop it into another tool and say, I
Right.
don't like this response. Here are the reasons why. Tell me how to make this better. So
Yes.
leveraging the two prompts. I think the other thing too is that, people's perception of marketers using AI is that things are going to become less authentic.
Right.
And I think it's a great way to connect with people, especially for people like my father who maybe don't have the gift of writing and need to use it to better engage with somebody and use the right words, use the language. So for example, another way we're using it is if we're targeting a specific buyer persona. And oftentimes those buyer personas can have similar personality traits.
Yes.
And if you don't have those traits, you don't know how to talk to them. So you leveraging the AI tools to be able to talk to them better, to better engage and talk about the things that are keeping them up in the middle of the night.
Mhm.
So I don't be afraid that you're going to come across as inauthentic, because I think you can actually connect better by
Yeah, it's
by
true.
leveraging a thought partner like AI.
I love it. So, can you give us an example of a successful AI powered campaign that you've led?
Mm. Oh yes. I'm actually going to say that this is one that we did for ourselves. So we put our money where our mouth is, and so we're not just, what's the phrase, talk the talk, we're walking the walk, or whatever,
Yeah.
however that goes. That's an American phrase. Um, is because we were going through this shift, we've actually changed the target market that we're going after.
Mm,
And we're going from targeting big enterprise companies to targeting more mid-sized companies, the companies that are willing to take risk, or the companies where the CEO and the executive team is like, we need to be using AI more. So soup to nuts, we've been using AI from everything to how do we find these people, what are back to the persona work that we've been doing with them, having a really good competitive analysis of who we're up against when we're reaching out to these people.
Right.
And probably the biggest is messaging. Get it, that hyper personalization at scale was not achievable before AI. I mean, we could get pretty good, and I used to think I was really good at that, but I'm like, oh, this is nothing compared to what we can do now. So leveraging those tools to get hyper personalized to every person that we're outreaching to, so they understand, number one, that it's sincere, and that we also understand what their challenges and their plights are, and then being able to achieve their goals. So this was, I was impressed with, standing up this AI powered campaign, standing it up, executing it. And I'm shocked at how quickly it worked. Because usually, a lot of campaigns can be laborious to set up and be able to execute, and then be able to monitor the data. And then there's a ramp up period. I think AI is helping us accelerate that so that our sales cycles are actually shorter and we're able to bring on clients faster.
Oh, I love it. That's just incredible. So how do small businesses benefit from integrating AI into their own strategies, do you think?
Yeah, I would say start small, like start
Mhm.
somewhere and find a tool. There's a couple really good tools that anybody can learn.
Right.
The first of which is ChatGPT. The second is well, actually, there's a lot of them, but the ones we're very well versed in here at Catalyst. The next one is Claude. Claude,
Okay.
Claude and I are besties now. I consult with him probably. Actually, we're calling him Claudette because we're a women-owned business. We feel like it should have a female name.
I
Um,
love it.
yes, and so just having him at the ready. I think thinking of him as or her as a thought partner that you're
Yeah.
constantly bouncing ideas off of. So Claude is super affordable. It's easy to just be able to pull up at the ready, and I encourage you, just keep it open. And the things where you're like, oh, if I'm questioning something, let's just ask Claudette and see what Claudette has to say. Um,
Ah,
the, the other one too, if you are a business that is responding to RFPs, so requests for proposals,
mhm.
that has changed our lives. And the tool that we've used often for our responding to those requests for proposals is Perplexity. And you can load a bunch of documents into Perplexity. And here's how you do it. So think of all the other responses that you've had in the past, load them into Perplexity, then load the new prospects questions in the RFP into Perplexity, and then have Perplexity write your response based on the answers you've answered before and based on the new questions. This has saved us, I want to say, this has shortened our time by
Incredible.
75, almost 80%.
Are
That's
you
how impactful.
serious?
Yeah.
That is an amazing tip you've just given everybody there. I absolutely love that. Wow.
The other
So,
one I love too, I'll give you one more, is
yes,
the AI
do.
tool Free Pick. We have, which is an image generator. We've had a hard time finding really good tools that generate art. And that
Right.
one we've had so much fun with. If you go to our website, which is catalystmarketing.io, on our team page, you can see all of those pictures are AI generated of us in a White Lotus scene where we're on the beach. But Free Pick has been a really valuable tool for us, especially if you're trying to if there's somebody that's on your team that may not live in the same location as you and may live in Australia and not in Denver, Colorado, your friend in Australia can send you a picture, and then you can upload it and have a different background so that it looks like your new friend Gertrude is standing in front of the Rocky Mountains. So
Okay.
Free Pick is a great one.
That is just awesome. Technology has just leapfrogged. It's an amazing time to be alive. And I tell you,
Yeah.
when I meet people who aren't excited about AI, I actually feel sorry for them because they're missing a major opportunity. And the early adopters are going to win and succeed in business because of this technology.
I
Now,
absolutely agree.
as a woman in tech, what challenges have you faced and how have you overcome them?
I so I grew up in tech. I was actually on the client side before I left and then started my own marketing company. And I just wrote a LinkedIn post about this, but I had an interesting journey because I was one of the very few women in tech. And so to me, that was really intimidating. I had the great fortune of being raised by parents who have always encouraged me, you can be whoever you want to be. So when I got into the real world and had my first real job in tech, I was like, oh, this is strange. No one else perceives women like that because it was very much a male dominated industry. And I did have an experience where I had a woman boss who, I think they call it the queen bee syndrome, who was not encouraging and did not do a good job of coaching, training, uplifting, and seeing me as a rising star. So it was really hard. And that was very reserved and held back and never felt like I could be my true authentic self. And I realized what a detriment that is. And so I feel like it's part of my journey and it's part of my mission here in this life on earth to give back to women and to coach and encourage and support and teach them to be good leaders. Because I think one of the things I learned when you surround yourself with really great people and you elevate them and you empower them and you coach them, that they make you look good. So it's less about them stealing the limelight from you. Like there is great joy and I have great pride with being able to bring up especially young women in an environment especially that is male dominated. The advertising industry is very male dominated. So being able to provide them with that support, I think, is a lesson that I've learned. And hopefully, the women that I'm shepherding through their careers, they can say the same.
Speaking of technology, my internet just crashed. Isn't that
Oh, is that what that was?
Yes. I'm sorry, you're probably sitting there thinking, where's she gone? I've had my Wi-Fi data, my phone data. It's very strange.
Oh, no.
That's never
Well, you know
happened
what? I
before.
mean, technology keeps us on our toes. We got to be able to roll with it, right, Gertrude?
And the beautiful thing about StreamYard is if you continued speaking, it will still have recorded your side.
Oh, good. Well, I did keep speaking. I just thought, you know what? Maybe she's taking a spa break and she'll be back.
No, my Wi-Fi crashed. Okay, so my next question for you is, what advice would you give women looking to start a marketing or technology business right now?
Be bold, sister. There's a lot of amazing support networks that can give you the tools to be successful, to start. Surround yourself with people that with skills that you don't have as potential advisors. But some of those really great supportive groups that can buoy you up. The first of which is WeBank, which is in the United States. It's the governing body that helps you get certified as a women-owned business. So I really encourage you, like that's step one. They have so many programs. They have conferences, they have sessions, they have one-on-one peer support, but that is an amazing group that and unfortunately we didn't find them until a couple years into our business. I would have loved to have had them in the early days of Catalyst to be able to support us. And then find your local networks of women, those people that you can meet with frequently to have coffee. I think one of the things that we didn't expect were all the challenges that we would face. Both my partner and I, we're really good at marketing, we're really good at sales, but we don't know finance, and we didn't know how to deal with a pandemic when that happened. So there was that. We didn't really know how to deal with the Great Resignation. but have those like key women that are there that can be your hype girls that are going to be like, I believe in you, Robin. I know you can do this. And so the people that are going to support you, and then those people that have skills outside of your own, so you can lean on them for some great advice.
Yeah, having a community is necessary when you're a woman in business.
Yes, absolutely.
I love it. Now, how do you keep up with the rapidly evolving AI landscape? I personally feel a little overwhelmed. Every time I look, there's something different. There's something different. How are you keeping up with everything?
Yeah. You know what, Gertrude, if it makes you feel any better, everyone's overwhelmed, like including us. And we're deemed as an AI enhanced growth marketing company. And to keep up, we've actually implemented within our company, we have a person that's spearheading AI and the AI research, and then he is the coach of our team. But I think there's some really great thought leaders in the AI space. You have to kind of sift through and discern what seems to be, the best thought leaders. But there's a couple that are rising to the top right now that I think are great to follow to get some of the information. But I would say, respective to your business or the community that you're building, look for those thought leaders within those spaces. Because if you're just looking so broadly and so generally, it is going to be overwhelming and you're not going to know where to go. I actually had a really wonderful conversation with the head of AI at Indiana University, my alma mater. And I posed the same question, Gertrude, because I was feeling like I was like, oh, where do I go? Who are the experts in the space? How do I stay abreast of this? How do I stay ahead of the technology? How do I soak it all in? And I said, I'm having a really hard time finding the groups where I'm going to learn from them and knowing that these people are the experts in this space.
Yes.
And he said to me, I'm having the same problem. So it was a little bit reassuring. AI. Yeah, the head of AI, at Indiana University was also experiencing the same thing. So I think just know everybody's a little bit overwhelmed.
Yeah. My last two questions are a bit of a thought experiment.
Mm-hmm.
In the first one, I'm going to teleport you back to the younger you, that young woman who went into the world of business. If you could go back and give her 3 nuggets of wisdom about business and entrepreneurship, based on what life has taught you up until this point, what 3 nuggets of wisdom would you give?
Yes, the 3 nuggets that I would give would be, Robin, your grit and tenacity will pay off. Keep going, keep trying, like that will serve you well. The second thing is forgive yourself. Know that you're going to fail. Know that you're going to have some bad presentations. Know that you're going to make some missteps in your career. And it's all a part of learning. And I think owning that. And then the third thing is probably a sense of humor. Like just know that life is hard, and if you're going to be spending your full day doing this away from your family, that you might as well have a good time and have a good sense of humor about it and enjoy it along the way.
I love that last one. Yeah, we have to remember to keep it light.
Yes.
All right, my last question is now futuristic, and I am going to teleport you into the future. And we are going to go and meet the 90-year-old you. Sitting in her rocking chair. Maybe she's on a dance floor with science and technology. You'll probably be on your feet. But if I could teleport you to go and meet this wise woman who has led you up until this point, what will you say to her when you finally meet her?
I think she would say you had your priorities right. That, putting your, it's going to make me emotional. Putting your kids first was the best thing you could have done. And like having them guide you and be the drive behind you. I think the other thing too, as hopefully my 90-year-old self looks back at 50-year-old Robin and says, I'm proud of you. You had adversity in your life, you had divorce, and you have a lot to be proud of. And good for you for keeping your sense of humor.
You're making me cry
Ah,
too.
sorry, that was unexpected.
No, it's because you're connecting to who you are. You and I have a similar story. When I read your background, I can relate. I went through a very traumatic divorce. I lost a 6.9 million property investing business. I was living in my car in 2015, and that's how her story was started.
Wow.
So, we have to share these stories because there's a woman out there who is going through exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
And what I'm hoping with this platform is that we deliver a source of inspiration to women,
Yes.
that regardless of what you've gone through, there's another woman who's gone through it. She came out on the other side. You're going to be fine. And that's why I created the platform. So thank you for
Aw.
your
Well,
vulnerability.
I
I
love
really
that so much.
appreciate
And yes, you were not alone. And it's actually a good thing to ask AI for support. Like, who are the people that have gone, who are the thought leaders that I should be following, or what are the books that I should read as I'm going through this divorce or losing my business or
Mhm.
grief. Like, it's also kind of a great
It
self-help
is.
tool that's free and at the ready for you.
Mhm. That is so true. And people don't realize just how much information is out there at
Yeah.
your fingertips right now. Thank you for sharing that. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure having you with us, Robin.
Aw.
I feel so blessed that you are now part of our tribe. I am trying to create a community of women who are go-givers, who are
Mm,
sharing their stories to uplift, to inspire, and energize,
mm.
and to empower other women with the tools that they need to succeed. So
Yes.
thank you for this interview.
Well, thank you. It was a great pleasure. So I appreciate you inviting me.
And thank you to everybody who tuned in. I'll be back again tomorrow, everybody, with yet another amazing guest. In the meantime, have a fantastic day, morning, or evening, wherever you are in the world. And bye for now. Robin, don't go away. Thank you for tuning into the Her Story Circle podcast. I hope today's story has inspired you to believe in the power of our stories and the difference you can make in the world when you use your voice. I'm Gertrude Mache, and it's been an honor to share this space with you, where voices from all walks of life come together to weave a rich tapestry of diverse perspectives. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review our podcast to help us share these stories with more listeners. Follow us on social media by looking for the Her Story Circle podcast for more updates. And join us tomorrow for another episode filled with courage, resilience, and empowerment. Remember, your story matters, and together we're building a stronger, more inclusive world. Until next time, keep making her story.